Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening, and what I'm doing tonight is I'm making up for last night, Wednesday night Bible class, because we had some weather situation, and it got we had some technical difficulties, so I'm just I did a part two to the Wednesday night Bible study for the 19th of May 2021. We're not gonna be able to be on here that long, so like I was saying, this Prophets of Awakening, our Wednesday night advanced Bible study class. This is an addition to it because of what happened last night. So before we get started, I was going to ask everybody to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Let us know what you think. So with that being said, I'm going to do a moment of silence in regard to our Creator and His Redeemer, the Lord of hosts, and all that they're doing to bring about Israel's prophecies that haven't taken place yet, our regathering, and us receiving our just due for all we've been through over the past 3,000 years, and especially the 400 years here in America. So we're gonna do a little prayer. And we're gonna go into Psalms, and then I got some current events, and I'm gonna go right into pick up where I left off last night. O Lord, I pray unto the Lord my God. We make our confession, O Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping covenant and mercy to them that love thee and them that keep thy commandments. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of face as it is this day, to the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven us, because of our trespass, that we have trespassed against thee. Okay. As it is written in the laws of Moses, all this evil is come upon us in the land of our captivity, here in the Americas, Caribbean, Great Britain, and Africa. O Lord, according to all thy righteousness, I beseech thee, let thine anger and thy fury be turned away from thy city, Jerusalem, and thy people and thy holy mountain. O Lord, hear this prayer, and cause thy face to shine upon thy sanctuary and thy people for the Lord's sake. O Lord, open thine eyes and incline thine ears to hear and to behold our condition. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and do. Defer not for thine own sake, O my Lord, for thy people and your land need you desperately at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay, so I'm going to read the Psalms, and then do a little current events, and we're going to go right into this. Okay. So I'm going to read Psalm 92. It's the praises for the Lord's goodness. It's a psalm and a song for the Sabbath day. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night. Upon an instrument of 10 strings and upon the pastry, upon the harp with solemn sound. For thou, Lord, hast made me glad through thy works. I will triumph in the works of thy hands, O Lord. How great are thy works, and the thoughts are very deep. And brutish man knoweth not, neither do a fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when the workers waters of iniquity do flourish, it is that they that be destroyed forever. But thou, Lord, art the most high forevermore. For lo, my enemies, O Lord, for lo, thy enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn uh, thou exalt like the horn of a unicorn. Okay, like the horn of a unicorn, I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eyes also shall see my desire on my enemies, and my ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like the cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age, and they shall be fat and flourishing, to show that the Lord is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteous in him. That's in Psalms 92, praises for the Lord's goodness. Okay, so now with that being said, I was going to I got a little something I want to deal with. That's got to do with Kamala Harris and what they're doing with the Asian Americans all of a sudden since she became president. Okay, so here we go. So like I said before, all of a sudden now, they got all of a sudden now they got this Asian American thing going on with with Kamala Harris, and they asking her to stand up for them now. All of a sudden, come on.
When it comes to trimming your balls, always use the right job. Landscape.
Okay, here we go right here. Sorry about that.
The economy and job market are picking up quickly. If you're a job seeker looking to advance your career, or if you're an entrepreneur looking to start or expand your business, RightPathSearch.com has a resource to assist you. For job seekers at any stage, RightPathSearch.com can perfect your resume and cover letter, help you prepare for your interview, and offer leads for networking. For entrepreneurs, RightPathSearch.com can help you get access to government contracts or even help you start your business. There's no need to go at it alone. For a free consultation for job seekers or small business services, email j@brightpathsearch.com or visit the website www.brightpathsearch.com.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Demetra K of the Demetra K Show here on YouTube and a proud contributor of the African Diaspora News Channel and the African Diaspora News Insider. If you could please do me a favor and subscribe to all channels and like this video, I would greatly appreciate it. So I was reading an article on Political earlier today, and it was talking about how Asian Americans want Kamala to do more and strike a better balance between her being Black and her being Asian, right? Because they feel like she only talks about being Black. She goes to Black events, she talks about being, first Black vice president, all of that, but they don't hear very much from her being proud of being, Asian or Indian. And specifically, the article said this: Politicians and activists of Asian descent have cheered Harris's ascent, but they want her to speak out more about her Indian heritage, embracing it as she does her Black roots, and advocate for policy issues important to Asian Americans, including legal immigration, COVID-19 disparities, and discrimination and hate crimes. They say the need has never been more pronounced as the discrimination Asians have long faced continues to grow, marked tragically by the March shooting of 6 women of Asian descent at 3 Atlanta area spas. So, of course, you guys know all about that. And an Indian doctor said this: she lacks Indianness. Sampat Shivangi, an Indian American doctor from Mississippi who has raised money for Republican presidential candidates, said of Harris, I don't know how much we can claim her because she claims to be African American rather than Indian American. I think she is keeping distance from Indian Americans. She should start identifying who she is. And then an Asian woman who sat in a meeting with her said this, and her name was Michelle Ah, a state senator, so she's a state senator, who attended the meeting, so they were in a meeting together, said she left wishing there had been more time to hear from Harris about how discrimination had affected her as an Asian American woman, and quoted, you know, she does see us because she is us. And so there you have it. Asians, Indians, you know, the same thing depending on who you ask, say that they need her to do more and saying that she actually identifies with them. They're tired of her talking about her being Black. And so there's a meeting coming up later on this month for Asian Americans, and Kamala Harris is supposed to be the keynote speaker there. So they're hoping that she's going to highlight more of her Indianness, I didn't even know if that was a word, and her being an Asian woman, opposed to always talking about her being Black. But I'm like, well, aren't Asians getting bills passed? And, you know, India, they're now helping India, especially with the COVID thing. I mean, I think they're getting a lot. I mean, on the one hand, she's talking about being Black, but she's doing for Asians and Indians. So which one is more important? Anyway, for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel, The Demetra K Show, here on YouTube. Peace.
Okay, so we see right here, like I said, the same way they tricked us with Obama, they're tricking us with this right here. You know, she ran on the platform as a, you know, Black candidate, and now all of a sudden, everything she's doing is geared toward the Asian Americans. Like, all these bills they passed, and all of a sudden for Asian Americans, and you know, nobody is dealing with the fact that the atrocities that happened to the African Americans, the Israelites, that was brought over here and wasn't happening to them for the last 400 years at the hands of these Americans. You know, they're not looking at that. So, yeah. So, you know, I just thought I'd plug that in there. What I want to do right now is pick up where I left off at yesterday. We got to the point where we was dealing with Joel chapter 3, and I was breaking it down, and then so I'll pick it up. It is I was reading chapter 3, and I was reading 13. I was shining light on 13, 15, and 16 because I was showing the parallels when you understand how the New Testament came about. They just can't, they going in and getting events that happened in the Old Testament, and they plugging them over in the New Testament to put some meat in the New Testament, but it's plagiarism. And so I'm gonna go back over that. I'm reading Joel. I'm gonna start at verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears, and let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathens, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come Come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I set to judge all the heathens round about. Like I said, this stuff hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen in the future. But Joel is telling us what's going to happen, not Revelations, John, and all them. They're not. That's plagiarized. This is actual events happening right here. So I was showing you how in verse 13 it says, "Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down, for the press is full, the vats overflow, for their wickedness is great." So the reason why the sickle is being introduced right here is because a sickle is used for harvesting, but the harvest is the wicked. That the wicked is recompense time for the wicked. For the wicked, it's on the earth, and so the reason why he's doing this is he bringing them all to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is also called the valley of decision, which is expounded upon in Ezekiel 38. So he's bringing all them together because now it's time for him to rid them of from all the atrocities that they caused upon the earth. And he can get rid of them because he wants to he's going to get ready to lift his people up. And so he has to get rid of them in order to do that. So the parallel verse to that is verse 13. I went to Revelations 14. Revelation 14, and start reading. And it says, "And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat, like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle." So here goes the sickle right here. But right now, all of a sudden, JC got the sickle, right? It says, "And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in the sickle, and reap, for the time is come. For the time is come." Okay, he says, "And another angel came out from the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle, and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple, which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle." He also having a sharp sickle. Okay. What's up? He also having a sharp sickle. I'm in Revelation 14. I'm reading parallel verses from Joel chapter 3, verse 13 about the sharp sickle. I'm in Revelation 14 and verse 17. "And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in the sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for grapes are fully ripe." And the angel thrust in. 1 minute. Okay, it says, Revelation 14 and 18, "And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in the sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for our grapes are ripe. For our grapes are ripe, fully ripe. And the angel thrust in his sickle in the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress for the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and the blood came out of the winepress even unto the horse's bridle by the space of 1,600 furlongs." So just before I got interrupted last night, this is what I was breaking down. So if you go back to Joel, I want to show you something. You go back to Joel chapter 3. You go to Joel chapter 3, verse 13 says, "Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, come, get you down, for the press is full, the vats overflow, and their wickedness is great." Right? So, what is he talking about? So, if you go back to the very beginning, and you understand that Cain was a serpent seed, and so the serpent seed, it multiplied. Just like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that he would multiply like the sands of the sea. Well, Cain's seed was brought on the earth long before that. So you got to know how much more so they've been multiplied. So let's look at that right quick. So if you go to 2 Samuel right quick, and you're gonna see what I'm talking about. Everybody wants to know why he allowed serpent to sleep with Eve. So if you go to 2 Samuel chapter 7, and this is the Most High talking to Nathan in concern and dealings with Israel, to David, his anointed, his Messiah. So we in verse, in verse 1 and 2, David want to build Most High house, but he used David to clean the land out, to cleanse the land. Just like he got to do when he come back, he got to cleanse the land. The land has got wicked folks all over his land. So by the time Israel leave Egypt and come into the land of Canaan, there's giants all over the land polluted. That's why they say the inhabitants of the land, these giants, that eat up the land because they weren't supposed to be there. They eating up everything, the vegetation, they eating people, they doing the most. So he uses David to cleanse the land. So David got blood on his hands, but David got a zeal, and he wants to build a Most High house. But he's not gonna let David build a house. He's gonna let Solomon build a house. David just provided all the provisions through David. David build up all the gold and silver and everything, and all the French relationship with all the kingdoms around Israel, and set Solomon up. Right? So Solomon is a prince of peace. Like I was telling you about, Most High got a covenant with David that he always gonna raise a son up, no matter how many wicked ones come, but he gonna raise a wicked one up, a righteous one up, out of David's lineage, that's gonna bring everybody back to Israel. So you understand that he all in them dealing with the DNA. He on the other side of the DNA. And so nobody can't do that. Ain't nobody can do that but the Lord of hosts, Yahweh and the Lord of hosts. Jesus can't do that. So he's dealing with he got a covenant with David on the backside of David's DNA. He telling him, I'm gonna finagle this DNA, I'm gonna bring you righteous son out of just like you. Whenever Israel start going to the stray, I'm gonna bring a righteous son out of your lineage and bring him back to me. So we're gonna pick it up right here in verse 4, 2 Samuel, saying, "It came to pass that night that the word of the Lord came to Nathan, saying, Go and tell my servant David, thus says the Lord, shall thou build me a house for me to dwell in, whereas I have not dwelt in any house since the time that I brought up the children of Israel out of Egypt, even to this day, but I have walked in a tent and in a tabernacle." So, we like I said, I'm multitasking. So he just said, ever since I came here, I've been dealing with you. I've been walking with y'all. We know that ain't Yahweh, because can't nobody walk with him. He's a all-consuming fire. You can't walk with him. You might walk with him for a minute, then you're gonna be barbecue, because you can't deal with you can't deal with flesh. That's the whole purpose of the Lord of hosts. So we see right here, there's a witness. It says, "Whereas I have not dwelt in any house since the time that I brought the children up out of Israel." We know who did that. The angel brought them out of Egypt. Even to this day, but I have walked in a tent in the tabernacle. So let's deal with some precepts. He came in the cool of the day, walking in the cool of the day, dealing with Adam. He walked with Noah. See that? So we see that this ain't Yahweh. So we're gonna pick it up in, I'm gonna pick it up in 2 Samuel 7 and 8. Now therefore, so shall thou say unto my servant David, thus says the Lord of hosts, I took thee from a sheepcote, and following sheep, to be ruler over my people Israel, and I was with thee whatsoever thou wentest, and I have cut off all thy enemies out of thy sight, and I have made thee a great name, like unto the name of great men that are in the earth. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people. See, you got it's some people on earth belong to him. So ain't no everybody you can't look under the throne and see all nations, all kindred, praising, because he ain't belong to everybody. He belongs to Christ. So he says, moreover, I appointed a place for my people, his people, Israel, and I will plant them, right? That they may dwell in the place of their own and move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them anymore. So there's two different amount of people right here. He got his people, then he got the children of wickedness. So who the children of wickedness is? Cain. The serpent brought forth Cain. Then Cain, the seed, to multiply on the earth. So when you get to that's one of the hooks that gave us, telling us that Japhet is Noah's son, but Japhet ain't. So when you go to Ezekiel 38, we're dealing with Joel chapter 3 and this sickle. What's the purpose of the sickle? So I'm in Ezekiel chapter 38. Okay, let me get it. Okay. So Ezekiel 38 says he just told David that it's the children on earth, people on earth that's wicked, children of the wickedness, and so they multiplying, just like Abraham's seed multiplying and Esau's seed. They all multiplying. That's what DNA does. It multiplies. So I'm in chapter 38. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach, Tubal, and prophesy against him. See that? So who is these people? These Cain descendants. Tubal. See that? That's all you got to look at. Tubal is one of Cain's descendants from the very beginning. Tubal Cain, which means Tubal means out of the lineage of Cain. So you can't fumble with that. So verse 3 says, and say, thus says the Lord God, the Lord of hosts, behold, I am against thee. He's been telling you this all through the scriptures. You're against these people, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will put hooks, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed all sorts of ornament. So where they get this ornament from? Cain. Lucifer showed Cain how to make ornament, how to make swords and metal. Okay, so it says all sorts of armor, even a great company, bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So why is he putting hooks in them to bring them to the valley of Jehoshaphat? Because back over to verse 13. I'm in Joel 13, 3 and 13. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Cain's sinners, they multiplied. And the time appointed to get rid of them is here. So he says, put ye the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down, for the press is full. These wicked folks. And you say, well, what you talking about? The vats overflow, for their wickedness is great. That's these wicked folks from way back here. Let's look at it. Genesis chapter 3. Genesis chapter 3. Let me get it. Genesis chapter 3, verse 14. And the Lord God, this is the angel of the Lord God said, let's look at it. And we ain't gonna fumble with it. So it says, and the Lord God said, right? Well, I'm over here in 13, Joel 3 and 13. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down, for the press is full, the vats flow, for the wickedness is great. Okay, go up to 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathens, and gather yourselves together round about thither, cause the mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Same Lord. So we says 17, you want to be precise, says, so shall you know that I am the Lord, your God, dwelling in Zion. There it is. So I'm in 3 and 14, says the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, above every beast of the field, upon thy belly shall thou go, thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and thy seed, Cain, and her seed. So from this point right here, Genesis 3 and 15, the serpent got a seed and it multiplied. That's why he putting hooks in them over in Ezekiel 38, because they wickedness that came to a fool. Just like Israel wickedness came to a fool in Daniel. Let's look at this. I ain't gonna take that long to look at it. Daniel chapter 8. Daniel chapter 8 and verse 18 says, now, as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face toward the ground, but he touched me and set me upright. This Gabriel that came to Daniel. Verse 16, and I heard a man's voice between the banks of the Uriah, which called and said to Gabriel. There it is, Gabriel. So 19, and he said, behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of indignation, for the time appointed end shall be. This Israel right here. This when Israel, the Most High had was tied. His indignation came to a fool with Israel, and he kicked them out of the land. That's how we ended up over here. So in Ezekiel 38, the Most High indignation that came to a fool with this wicked seed from serpent seed, and it came to a fool. So he put hooks in them, and he bringing them to the valley of Jehoshaphat. So now we're going to read this verse again in proper context. So Joel 3 and 13 says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down, for the press is full. It's wicked Gentile all over the world. So he says, the vats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes and multitudes. They show you how many of them it is. Multitudes and multitudes in the valley of decision. The valley of decision is the same place he putting hooks in them in Ezekiel 38. And the valley of decision is the valley of Jehoshaphat. And he bringing Cain's seed to the valley of Jehoshaphat to judge them. So this sickle is all about judging the wicked. So now we're going to go to Revelation chapter 14. And we know the Lord is the one behind it. Over here in Joel, ain't no son of man nowhere to be found. He ain't over in the bush nowhere, in Abraham's bosom nowhere. So Revelation 14 and verse 14 says, and I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in the sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in the sickle of the earth, and the earth was reaped. Now watch this. You say, well, what's the difference? And another angel came out of the temple, which is in heaven, and he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had the power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sickle, saying, thrust in the sharp sickle and gather the clusters of the vine. See that? Now we see what it is. Who the vine is. Israel is the vine. But over here in Joel, it's the Cain descendants is the reason they got the sickle. Right now over here, all of a sudden it said, thrust in the sharp sickle, gather clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. Talking about Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
See that?
Mm-hmm.
I want to show you something else. It's going over about here. This is where you gotta go get you a cup of coffee on this one. He says, Revelation 14:14. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud, see that? Upon the cloud, one sat like son of man. Now watch this. Go to Ezekiel chapter 1. Ezekiel chapter 1. Let me get it that quick. Yeah, man. Come on, man. Ezekiel chapter 1. So I'm in Ezekiel chapter 1. Now you don't, this don't register. There's something wrong with you out there in the YouTube world. So it says, chapter 1. Now it came to pass. This is Ezekiel 1:1. Now it came to pass in the 13th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river Tabor, the heavens were open, and I saw a vision of God. And in the 5th day of the month, which was the 15th year of King Jehoiakim's captivity, the word of the Lord came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans by the river Tabor, and the hand of the Lord was upon him. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof was a color of amber, and out of the midst thereof fire. And out of the midst of there came the likeness of four living. So they in the cloud. They in the thick cloud. Now all of a sudden, JC sitting on the cloud like the Latin. But they right here, they in the cloud. So you say, what are you talking about? Let's go to Exodus right quick. Chapter, let me get it right quick. Okay. Okay, I'm in chapter 13, verse 17. Exodus 13:17. And it came to pass, when Pharaoh had let the people go, that God led them not through the way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. For God said, let peradventure the people repent when they see war, and they return to Egypt. But God led this people about through the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea, and the children of Israel went up harnessed out of the land of Egypt. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had straightly sworn the children of Israel, saying, Go, God will surely visit you, and ye shall carry up my bones away henceforth. And they took their journey from Sukla and encamped in Etham, in the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light to go by day or night. So we know two beings right there. So we go back over here to Revelations 14:14. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud. Now it's a white cloud. And upon the cloud, one sat upon, he's sitting on the cloud, like I said, like they're Latin on top of the rug. He's sitting on the cloud. And then like unto the Son of Man, having on his head. Now he got on his head a crown and a sharp sickle in his hand. He ain't the fire that when they came out of Egypt, he ain't the fire that's behind them, and he ain't the person in the cloud. Something wrong. See that? And then on top of that, he coming to get some vine of the earth. When the vine I come out of Israel. And then he got a sickle in his hand, but it ain't the same sickle that's over here in Joel. I don't know what he gonna do with the one he got. So before I go any further, I'm gonna go to anybody got any questions, comments. No questions or comments? Okay. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I thought we was on.
Yes, I have a question. I'm sorry, I couldn't get to it fast enough.
Okay, what you got?
When you say that Cain's descendants multiplied or increased, is that connected to the giants? Did they increase because of that, or that's totally different?
That's the giants, Cain descendants is Lucifer's descendant. Cain came from Lucifer. Those other giants came from a different being. All the just like a man, each man got a household. When those giants came down, every time they slept with a woman, they got a household.
Okay, so when the scripture says that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, who were those daughters?
Cain's daughters. So you say, what you talking about? Well, the Canaanites. What's the Canaanites? What are the Canaanites?
The Canaanites are
7 nations, right?
huh?
7 nations of the Canaanites, right?
Yes.
Okay, Jebusites, the Gerbusites, all them.
Hivite,
What are they?
They are
Giants.
okay. So what was the answer to the question? Did Cain's Did Cain's people increase as a result of the giants? The answer is no.
Well, what I'm showing you is that Cain's descendants, when they started growing, okay, it's 7 angels over watching over Adam, ain't it? And Adam descendants, right?
Right.
So they can't just they watchers. These 200 is watchers. They can't come over there with mess with Adam descendants. So
Right.
Cain daughters when they multiplied. How you get it? What happened when a angelic being sleep with a woman?
You get a giant.
What is Cain? He killed Abel. He more powerful than Abel. He wicked as hell. He overpowered Abel and killed him.
Mm-hmm. So was Cain a giant?
Yeah. Yeah. When an angelic being sleep with a woman, what you get?
Okay. So Satan, the serpent, as a eternal being, slept with Eve, which was a regular woman, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, wow.
That's why he's more powerful. So what you have to do, you got to look at the same thing with Esau. He said one is stronger than the other one. He tell you what the deal is. Esau stronger than Abel. I mean, than Jacob. And we see that today. If it weren't for the heaven and the 7 angels, we'd have been wiped out. Only reason we still here, we got heaven on our side. They no power with us. We ain't, we through.
Okay, so let me ask this. I don't know if you want to answer it now or later. So are you saying that if you're saying that Esau was a giant, then you're saying that the same thing happened to Rebecca that happened to Eve? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we had the class on. Like I said, if you go in a village, in the Indian village, and you see little kids with afros, it's a Negro in the tent somewhere. The kids ain't just having afros for GP. The DNA telling the story. So when you go back and do your research on these red-headed giants, which are these Vikings, the Vikings came from the red-headed giants. They're the ones that was coming in those boats in the Europe and all that raiding it. They was horrible. They was horrific. They wasn't human. They was tearing up everything, but they all had red hair. So like I said before, so Esau, Jacob, from Adam all the way down to Abraham, them, there wasn't no red-headed kids. So where did red kids come from?
Right. Where can I read that would help me to understand that Esau was a giant?
Well, you ain't necessarily got to see. Let's go to Genesis. Then we're gonna go back over where we said Genesis. So, let me get it. So if you go to chapter 20 of Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just gonna stop there for a minute. This is
okay.
This is verse 1. This is where Abraham met Abimelech. See that?
Yes.
Abimelech is descended from the giants, but he
Okay.
Abraham free. And the giants take your wife. If you got a nice wife, you better put some sackcloth or put in a bag or something so they don't see her. Cause if they see her, she look good, if they see her, she look good, you're gonna wrap you upside the head, and then you're gonna take her. So that's why Abraham told him, tell them I'm your brother. You know,
Right.
so they won't kill me because they want her. So then later on, Abraham came down there. When he did what he did to Abraham, he got introduced to the Lord of hosts. So Abimelech mind right now. He know it's a heaven. He know that these people over here associated with Abraham, leave them alone. Don't mess with them. So now later on, after Abraham got that class, then here come Isaac in the same place. Right? Let's get it. Come on. Let's go one more place before we go there. So I'm gonna make this plain. So chapter 26, verse 26.
Where you at?
Genesis.
Okay.
So Abraham made a covenant with Abimelech. And he's from the lineage of the giants. So it said, Abimelech went to him at Gerar, and Ahuzah, one of his friends, and Pisgah, the chief captain of his army. See that? So Abimelech got a Lord of hosts, Pisgah. And Isaac said unto them, wherefore come ye to me, seeing ye hate me? See that?
Right.
They hate them. They giant. You know, they from the descendants of the fallen angel, and have sent me away from you. And they said, we saw certainly that the Lord was with thee. How you know that? From dealing with Abraham.
Right.
And we said, let there be now an oath between us, even between us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee. Right. So let's see. So we see that. So he know how to do all that now because his dealings with Abraham. So let's go. We find it right quick. I guess. Yeah. Find this right quick. Yeah, chapter 26 and verse 6. You there?
Yeah.
So these redhead giants, they are all over the land of Canaan. We know now they was all over here in America, all in North and South America. It was all over the planet. The redhead, because these angels can go all over the planet. So I'm in 26 and 6, and Isaac dwelt in Gerar. So same place that Abraham was at with Sarah. And the men of the place asked him, see that? They wicked as hell. They asked him of his wife, because she looked good. So they saying, what's up with you? You a brother, you better tell me something. so he said, she is my sister. See that? And for he feared to say, she is my wife. This is what everybody read. No, they ain't dealing with this. Because this was what was going on.
Right.
This is what Japhet did to Abraham. I mean, to know.
Yeah.
He's from these people. So as soon as they got off the boat, he wrapped Noah's wife upside the head and raped her. So verse 8, and it came to pass when he had been there. Okay, let me go back up. He said, she is my sister, for he feared to say, she is my wife. She said, the men of the place should kill me. See that? They ain't gonna just jump on him. They're gonna kill him. Kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon. Now let's go back. In Genesis chapter 6, what happened? The giants came down and chose the wives of those that were fair. Right? So
yes.
8. And it came to pass when he had been there a long time. See, he lied to him up here. Told him that's his sister. So he thinks she open game. So he says, and it came to pass when he had been there a long time that Amalek, king of the Philistines, looked out his window and he saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah. Now watch this. And Amalek called Isaac and said to him, behold, of a surety she is thy wife, and how sayest thou she is thy sister? And Isaac said unto him, because I said, lest I die for her. And look at this. Go back to the story in the beginning with Cain and the serpent and Eve and the Lord of hosts. And Amalek said, what is this that thou hast done? So you got to answer that. Because now Amalek telling you, he said, you done lied to me.
Right.
So if all he did was lie to him and then nothing happened, then what's this big state of emergency all of a sudden? See, he already know what happened with when he had took Sarah.
Right.
And the Lord of hosts came to him in a dream and terrified him. So right here it says 10. And Amalek said, what is this that thou hast done? Well, we know it was sex when this question was asked in the garden. So he said, what is this that thou hast done unto us? See that? One of the people, look at this. So this Esau, it worked. When you got this spiritual discernment, he says, and Amalek said, what is this that thou hast done unto us? One of the people might look at this, might lightly have lain with thy wife, and thou should have brought guiltless upon us. So let's look at that. So Esau, he done rolled in there, might lightly have lain with us, right?
Right.
So let's go look at it. Now this is before Rebecca was pregnant. So let's go over here. Genesis. Genesis chapter 25 and 19.
Okay.
Says, and there was a generation, and these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, Syrian of Panaram, and the sister of Laman. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children, look at this, and the children, there's 2 women there. How many was in the Eve womb?
2.
Okay, was both of them Adam?
No.
They struggled. That's all you gotta do. The same thing happening right here. He says, and the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? Something wrong with her. Something don't supposed to be there. And she went and inquired of the Lord, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations is in thy womb.
Come on now. 2 nations.
Like I said earlier, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. One shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. We reading all over that. Now,
exactly.
Right back over here to Genesis, chapter Genesis, and the Lord of hosts right there. See, they ain't got no what they call those things where you can sonogram. So back then they had no sonogram. The Lord of hosts a sonogram.
Come on.
So he says right here. He did
it's almost
the same
identical.
Right. He did the same thing with now I'm in chapter 3, verse 14. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, right? We know what they done. So same thing they did over there when Amalek said it.
Okay.
Said, thou art cursed above all cattle and the beasts of the field, upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So we tell them right there's 2 seeds in her stomach.
Wow.
See that? So
yes.
So he told over there. And then the next page, it said 2 kids were born. He just told you one of them for the serpent. And then Cain and Abel was born. 2 seeds in the stomach, one of them for the serpent.
So that's probably why she favored one over the other. But I'm still not understanding why the husband did not, favor the same.
Right. So we're gonna go on into this since you had the question. Let's go to chapter 18.
Genesis.
Genesis 18. We're dealing with the sonogram. Okay, chapter 9. So everybody deal with the fact that right here, first of all, they don't understand that our Redeemer being identified here in chapter 18. But so go to chapter 18, verse 9. Everybody's looking at the fact he came, the Lord of hosts coming to deal with Sodom and Gomorrah, just like I showed you in Genesis 38, Ezekiel 38. When he put the hook in those Gentiles, their timing came. So right here in 18, Sodom and Gomorrah, the wickedness that's going on in Sodom and Gomorrah came to a fool. He coming to judge. Just like he judged the wickedness in Israel. When he came to a fool, he brought Antioch Epiphanes, the Antichrist, and ran the Israelites out. So right here, I showed you he a sonogram. He told her it's 2 kids in your womb. He told Rebecca it's 2 in her womb. So right here, verse 9. And they said unto him, where is Sarah thy wife? See this? They reading over this. And he said, behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard in the tent door, which was behind her, right? And now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of a woman. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, after I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also. So let's look at that. We're going to go all the way in. So verse 10, he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life, right?
Right.
What's the time of life?
9 months.
Okay, he gonna come back in 9 months. So what that tell you?
That she's already?
The baby in her womb.
Okay.
He said, I'm gonna come back in 9 months. That's according to the time. So he telling her right here, it's a baby in your womb. Well, ain't that what he told? Ain't that what he told Eve? Ain't that what he told Rebecca?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then so look at this. So he says, and Sarah heard in the tent door which was behind her. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of a woman. So what's after the manner of a woman?
Her son. Say that again.
He said, Abraham had ceased to be with her after the manner of a woman.
Okay, after her cycle stopped, probably in her what they call menopause.
Now.
Oh.
What he made the woman for?
He made her to procreate.
That's what he said. Right here, look what he said. And Sarah, it says 10, and he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. That's 9 months it takes for the baby to formulate, for her to receive the seed, and it germinate and all that, and then the baby get full grown and come out. 9 months. So he says, and he said, I certainly return unto thee according to the time of life, and lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard in the tent door which was in behind him. And now Abraham and Sarah were old. See that? Well stricken in age. Why are you telling us that? Because two old folks looking crazy trying to have sex. Right?
Okay.
So let's look at it. He says, now Abraham and Sarah were old. They 100 and something. And 90. So, and well stricken in age. They're old. They're through with having, trying to do something and having kids. So he said, and ceased to be with Sarah. He ain't going into a tent no more.
Okay.
See that? He ain't ceased to go into a tent, right?
Right.
It says he ceased to be with her after the manner of a woman. The woman is, you go into her to get a seed.
I know this. This is what I'm, okay. When it says that he ceased to go into her after the manner of a woman.
Right.
What does that mean? Because I thought it was that
it means he okay. Let's go back. Let's go over here for a minute. Then I gotta go back to over to class. So to go back to here to Genesis. Okay. Some clown on here. I don't know what he talking about. So.
Can I ask a question?
Hold on. So I'm in chapter 2, verse 21.
Okay.
You're in verse 2:21?
Genesis?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his reels and closed up the flesh thereof, and the reel which the Lord God had taken from man made he woman and brought her to the woman. Why he brought the woman to Adam?
Because that's who he made her for.
23. And Adam said, this is now bones of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She be called woman because she was taken out of man. Did 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh. If they one flesh, what's going on?
They are being intimate.
See, so he brought her there for that.
Okay.
So create. So over here, when you get over here to 18, where I was at 10, and he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life, and lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. See that? A son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, behind him. And then and now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of a woman. He brought Eve to Adam, and Adam consummated.
So how did Sarah get pregnant?
She was already pregnant. Let's look at it. So verse 11. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of a woman. And therefore, now 12. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, I am old, I am waxed old, and shall I have pleasure, and my Lord old also. That's about cohabitating.
Right, exactly. So how did Sarah get pregnant?
She was already pregnant. They had done something. And
okay, so why do they tell us that they were old and he was not going into her if he actually went into her? Is this wicked scribes?
No. Look, go over here to go to 21.
Okay, so my thinking, Leonard, just real quick. My thinking was the text is telling us that they're old, that they do, they are, the time for them to be procreating has passed, is what I'm thinking that the text is saying. And
Right.
I'm thinking that it's saying that to show us the power of the Lord of hosts to help them to to bring Abraham back to a place where he can be with Sarah and make a baby. So I'm not understanding.
So I'm in 21. I'll show you in a minute. 21, okay. Chapter 21. So he told us, I'm gonna be back in 9 months. So they already tell you right there, the baby already there. So now he go 9 months later, chapter 21. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. And Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age at the set time in which God had spoken to him. See that? So when you start talking about, we talked about this before, that Most High said he deal with signs and wonders. The sun and the moon is for signs and wonders. But we Israelites, but we ain't paying no attention to the sun and moon, right?
Right.
Well, he got stuff going on with the woman sexual organs too. Because right. You get to a certain point when a cycle stop and all that, they call them childbearing years.
Right.
So they still doing something, but they ain't expecting no kids. So that's what Sarah talking about.
Okay.
So she's saying, how we, we ain't doing it. I mean,
okay. So she's not.
The man of a woman is to have a kid.
Yeah. So she's not ovulating. She's not. Right. Okay. I understand.
That's why Abraham's so concerned, because he's saying we passed all this and you still ain't gave me the seed. You see. He said,
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So he told her. He telling him right there, you bumping your gums, but I'm coming back in 9 months. It's a baby already there.
Yes. Okay.
Because Abraham had children even after Sarah, right? So he was still,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, right. But this is the trick to what people are understanding. Just like I'm telling you, the covenant that he got with David, they understanding that he telling you, I can flip this DNA like pancakes.
Okay.
So he's saying that David gonna be dead, but I'm gonna bring a seed up out of his lineage like David.
Come on.
Every time Israel get to doing the wrong thing, I'm gonna bring a seed up and a reformer and bring them back to me.
Yes. Okay. So thank you for helping me to understand that, Leonard.
Right. Okay. So now we over in I'm in Joel chapter 3 verse 15, and says the sun and the moon shall be darkened and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Right. So if you've been BTU in Sunday school and church house, you should already know about this. So it says the sun and the moon, right? This over here in Joel, okay? And this is when the Lord of hosts says he's gonna put hooks in Japhet, bring him to the valley of decision, and he's gonna destroy him there because of what they done to his people. So it had nothing to do with. So now we're gonna look at the comparison and contrast with. We're gonna go to Acts chapter 2, verse 20 first. Acts 2 and 20. Yeah. So I hope you're learning something, brother. Chapter 2, verse 20. Acts. So it says, let me see when I start it. Notice I got this italicized. That's a telltale sign somebody tampering with it. It says 14. I'm starting at 14, Acts 2 and 14. But Peter, standing up with the 11, lifted up his voice and said unto them, Ye men of Judah, and all ye that dwell in Jerusalem, be this known unto you, and hearken to my words. For these are not drunken as ye suppose, seeing it but the third hour of the day. But this is that which was spoken of by the prophet Joel. See that? Now you got enough nerve to bring Joel up. Okay, 17. And it shall come to pass in that last day, said God, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And on my servant and on my handmaidens I will pour out in those days of my spirit, and they shall prophesy. And I will show wonders in the heavens above, signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire and vapors of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before that great and terrible, notable day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. So see how he incorporated this sun and the moon getting dark, but it has nothing to do with what Joel, the narrative that Joel is bringing forth.
Right.
It had nothing to do with it. So another place is Matthew, another Gentile. Okay, let me get it. Matthew, okay, 24. Matthew 24, 29, 31 says, okay, says the coming of the Son of Man. See, now we know over here in Joel, Lord of hosts coming, right? Hello?
Exactly.
Okay, so 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man. And all of a sudden, the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather his elect from the four winds from one end of heaven to the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you say, well, what's so significant about that? Well, we see two different things going on, but I want to shine a light on something else. I hope this brother listening. So it says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Now watch this. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with great power and glory. So it says he coming with great power and heaven. So now 31. And he shall send his angels. See that? He over the angels, right?
Right.
So they say. It's written and read. Just like it is in the Egyptian book of the dead.
Mm-hmm.
So he said he's going to send his angels. Well, let's go to Daniel right quick. I'm in Daniel. Chapter 8.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 8. And we just read this last night. I'm in 15. 8 and 15. So he said he get an interpretation of the dream he had with the ram and the he-goat, right? So
right.
It came to pass when I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning. Then behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man. So when you're thinking like a Hebrew, you already know the angel bring the dream. And then once he had a dream, then the prophet know to wait on this angel gonna show up and give him the understanding to the dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Gabriel came, brought him the vision. Then when he had the vision. Now an angel appeared to him. We know this angel appeared as a man. Then 16, and I heard a man's voice between the banks of the Uriah, which called and said to Gabriel. Whoever this is commanding Gabriel.
Yes.
See that?
Yes.
Okay. Now go to Daniel chapter 12. Chew on this, brother. So chapter 12 says, and I'm starting at verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even at the same time. And at that time our people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. So we see they're gonna get delivered when Michael stand up. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now keep going. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness. Let me hold up. Okay. As the brightness, those that everlasting life, and they shall be wise to shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they shall turn away many righteousness as stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words, seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. Then I, Daniel, look. Here we go. I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood the other two. Wasn't it three that came in chapter 18?
Yes.
One of them was the Lord of hosts, right?
Yes.
Michael. Say, then I looked, and behold, there stood the other two, one on one side of the bank of the river, and the other on the other side of the bank of the river, right? That's two of them. And one said to the man clothed in linen was upon the waters of the river. He's standing in the middle of the river.
Come on now. Yeah.
How long? So these other two angels talking to this angel standing on the water, right? And he said, how long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen that's on the water, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swore by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time and a half time, when he have accomplished to scatter the powers of the holy people, all these things shall be. So now let's go back. So this angel, Michael, is who it is, Michael standing on the water.
Mm-hmm.
Gabriel on one bank and Uriel on the other bank, right?
On the other bank, yeah.
Now, go back to chapter 8. So we reading over this stuff right here. So chapter 8, verse 15. And it came to pass when I, even died, Daniel, had seen the vision, sought for the meaning, then behold, there stood before me as appearance of a man. This Gabriel, right? But you have to understand, they by the river. We just saw what the setup was. Is one on the water, is one on the other bank, and Gabriel on the same side with Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now watch what happened. So 16, and I heard a man's voice between the banks of the Uriah. There go the man right here who commanded Gabriel. See that?
Yeah.
Between the banks of the Uriah, which called and said to Gabriel. So what the hell Jesus doing over there?
He's not there.
Michael the one controlling Gabriel.
Exactly.
Make this man understand the vision. He sound like to me he in charge.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, so like I was saying before, I was going to Matthew 24, and we see right here that they just taking the excerpts from what's going on in the Old Testament, bringing it over to the New Testament to put some meat to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it ain't got no meat to it because we at the end, the Most High waking the Israelites up. And that stuff ain't happening no more. It's falling off. The hooks that they had in us 5-10 years ago ain't there no more.
Yes.
We ain't dealing with that no more. So I'm in verse 16 of Joel, chapter 3, 16. And you're gonna deal with it. You're gonna deal with the shaking. Chapter 3, verse 16 says, "The Lord also shall roar out of Zion." So we know who the Lord is now. We just seen you the one standing on the water, right?
Yes.
Okay, you the same one standing on the water in Genesis chapter 1, chapter 2. Let's look at it right quick. Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and the earth was without form and void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep. Water, there's water all over the whole earth. It's a flood just happened. And the Spirit of God, that's the angel of God, moved upon the face of the waters. Same being.
Right.
He ain't just happened to be on the water in Daniel. He's on the water way back in Genesis 1 and 2. Okay, so Joel chapter 3, verse 16. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion, this is the Lord of hosts, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. So what is he talking about? Well, let's put it in context. We're in Ezekiel. Okay. Right quick. Ezekiel 37. Ezekiel 37 says, right here, Ezekiel 37 says, verse 7 says, "So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise. Behold, a shaking." See that?
Right.
And the bones come together, bone to his bone. So this has been broken down. We got a video on Prophets of Awakening called "The Valley of Dry Bones." So he's going to resurrect all our forefathers out of their graves. So this is the cue right here, when the whole earth and everything shake. See that? So go back to Joel. You're going to see what I'm talking about. So it says right here in Joel chapter 3, verse 16, "The Lord also shall roar out of Zion." So he back. We know he left. Zephaniah said he took the language and left with it. He left. He parted from us. That's why we catch so much hell. So he left. Right here, he back. 16 said, "The Lord shall roar out of Zion." He back. "And utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake." See, he back because now he back and he resurrecting. That's the cue. He resurrected when the whole earth and everything and heaven shake. That's these bones. He's shaking these bones. He's resurrecting Israel. See that?
Yes.
That's the cue. Great shaking it. That's the cue right there. Okay. Yeah. I just want to show you that. So yeah. So I'm opening up for a little Q&A, and I'm gonna read some stuff out of Zephaniah, and we're gonna close out. Anybody got any questions?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I have one question. You gave the scenario of the three angels. There was one on one side of the bank and another one on the other side of the bank, and then there was a man standing on the water.
Right.
Okay. Then you went to Daniel. Could you okay, where were the people at in Daniel? Daniel was on one side of the bank.
Well, what you have to do with this is what I mean by thinking like Hebrew. We follow a narrative, and what we discovered is these people then plagiarized it. The Old and New Testament, two different books. These Gentiles and Edomites and got hold to the book, and they concocted everything that's in the New Testament. So we're not reading it for what it's saying, you know. So when you go to Ezekiel chapter 1. Ezekiel chapter 1. Let me get it right quick. Okay. And so this just like I was showing you with the story with Abraham and Sarah, it's a plot. You have to follow the whole plot to get to see what's happening.
Right.
So it says chapter 1, verse 1, chapter 1, verse 1. You there?
Where you at, Leonard?
Chapter 1 of Ezekiel, verse 1.
Yes.
So here go the setting right here. "It came to pass in the 13th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives, by the river Kabar that the
Uh-huh.
heaven opened, and I saw a vision, right?
Right.
So where he at? He
He's
by a
by
river.
the river Kabar.
Right. So now go over here to chapter 8. I mean Daniel 8.
Uh-huh.
And then we already know that it was 3 angels came in Genesis 18, right?
Right.
Okay. So now we right here. It says, let me get it back. Let me go back to 7 and let me get it. Okay, yeah. So I'm in 15. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the vision of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by me, and I asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of things. No, that ain't it. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. 8 and 15. I was in 7 and 15.
Okay.
It says, let me get it. Hold up. Let me go back here and see what that. Yeah, here you go. I'm 8 in verse 1. 8 and 1. It says, in the 3rd year of the reign of King Belteshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at first. So he's taking me back what I just read. I just read Ezekiel chapter 1, right?
Right.
At first, I saw in a vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I was in Shushan in the palace, which was in the province of Elam, and I saw a vision, and I was by the river. See that?
Right. That's what happened in Ezekiel 1.
Right. No, he by a river. You got to understand he by a river. So when you go to chapter 2, chapter 12, you're in chapter 12.
Of Daniel?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now he told you he's by a river in 1. I showed you right here 8 he's by the river. So now 12 break down what's going on by the river.
Okay.
You can't really see what's going on by the river until you read 12. Then you go back and then you see what's going on. It says 3, 12 and 3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as a star forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the word, seal the book, even unto the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood the other 2, one on this side of the banks of the river. Now he's telling you about this river.
Yes. Yes.
And the other on the other side. So he's telling you to set up.
Right.
But we know it's 3 of them there. We know it was 3 in 18.
Right.
One of them is the Lord of hosts. Jesus ain't nowhere to be found.
Right.
Ain't no son of God. So he says, by the river. 8. And one said to the man, clothes and linen, here you go, which was upon the waters of the river, how long shall it be to the end of these ones, right? So let's pause right there because we got this brother listening. So it says, 5. Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood the other 2, and one on this side of the banks of the river, and the other on that side of the banks of the river, right? And one said, one of them, see, they talking. The one on the bank, on the river, controlling the other 2. He the one in charge, the commander of the Most High's army. So he says, one said to the man, clothes and linen. So why is he saying that? Well, go back to 10. You in chapter 10?
Uh-huh.
In the 3rd year, 10 and 1, in the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, the thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, and the thing was true, but the time appointed was long, and he understood the thing, and he had understanding of the vision. In those days, I, Daniel, mourning for 3 full weeks. This is why they there, because he mourning 3 full weeks. I ate no pleasant bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth, neither did I anoint myself at all till 3 full weeks were fulfilled. And in the 4th and 20th day of the 1st month, as I was by the side of what? The river.
The river, the great river.
Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man. See that? Why he said a certain man? He came in the cool of the day to talk to Adam. He walked with Enoch. He walked with Noah. A certain man. So he said, it said, then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man, clothes and linen. This is the man that's on the water.
Right.
See that? So that's why he's telling you. That's why he's telling you this over here. 8. He says, in 12, he says in verse 6,
7. Oh.
and one said unto the man clothed in linen. He didn't describe them over here. That everybody keep in verse 10, chapter 10, he describing the man in linen right here. And they want to keep on, they want to make that out to be JC.
Right. Well, Leonard, if you look at chapter 10 and verse 6, that also says that that's not JC. Chapter 10, verse 6 of Daniel.
Right. Yeah, verse 5 says, then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, this is what they reading over, a certain man.
A certain man.
You say a certain man. So he ain't, he ain't say certain man in Daniel 8. Look, Daniel 8 says 8 and 15. Then I looked, 8 and 15. And it came to pass when even I, Daniel, had seen the vision, saw for the meaning, then behold, there stood before me the appearance of a man. He ain't a certain man right there.
Right.
So this the certain man is the Lord of hosts. I'm showing you the same one in Genesis, in Genesis chapter 18.
Right.
When Abraham come out and bow down to is an angel.
Right.
That's why he's saying a certain man, and he's describing him, he clothed in linen. In verse 6, his body also was like beryl, and his face as appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet in the color of polished brass, and his voice was the words of multitude. They ain't Yahweh.
Exactly.
It definitely ain't JC. It ain't JC.
Right.
So therein lies the hook right there. When you decipher that, then the scripture gonna open up. Okay?
Right.
So
that answers my question, because my question was the voice that spoke from between the banks is different from the other two angels that he said was on either side of the bank.
Right. He controlling them.
Okay.
And they came down from heaven because of Daniel and fasted for 3 weeks.
Right.
So we saw that these same 3 came down because of Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
And they came to judge Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
So while he was there, he told him, Sarah gonna have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be back in 9 months. I'm gonna come back. So what they tell us, if it was 3 at the banks of the Uliah, 3 came to Abraham and Sarah, then how many do you think was with when he came back to see Sarah?
3.
See, that's how you write the divine scriptures.
Yes.
Like I said before, you can't have no brown woolly haired kid with brown eyes and brown skin. Didn't have one hairy with red hair.
Right.
Right in the divide there.
Something happened. Something out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Something out of the ordinary happened.
Right, exactly. Just like Cain. It's like when you plant an apple tree, and then those first couple of years when that tree start bearing, them the best apples he gonna be. So he just made Adam, and the first fruit from Adam is Abel. It's Cain. Cain supposed to be his son. Cain and Abel. That's his first fruit. Why the hell Cain so wicked? That's his first fruit.
He's from a different seed. He's from a different seed.
Right, ain't on his son.
So let me ask you this. This is my last question. How does a person, because we've been, as Malcolm X would say, we've been bamboozled and hoodwinked, and we have been taught to think a certain way, and it's not thinking like a Hebrew. Right. So what can a person do as they are reading the scripture to be able to rightly divide it from the Hebraic thinking?
Pray, ask the Most High to bring them to a place where they can get the information. He already got people in place. It's just that, like I said, what we don't do is we pray and then forget about what we prayed for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you pray and then you watching. When you understand who the Most High is and how heaven operates, you pray and then you watching to see it manifest itself. How you gonna be a witness for the Most High and the Lord of hosts and all them if you paying attention when you pray and then it manifests itself? How you gonna be a witness if you ain't watching?
Right.
Yeah.
Now
So
that
word.
the thinking like a Hebrew and the Hebraic understanding, is that a part of the Lord of hosts saying that he's going to pour his spirit out on his people?
Right. Because the original language was Hebrew.
Okay.
Not this Hebrew they got now, but the Hebrew, the original language, angels came down with the knowledge, the language talking. And so Zephaniah tells you, let me read it. And that's what our problem is today. So like I said, you can see a lion, you can see a lion, healthy, full grown lion. But if he come over and start barking like a dog, then there's something wrong with him.
Yes. Yes.
So we Israelites, but we ain't talking like Israelites. We don't have our language.
Right.
There's something wrong with us. So look, Zephaniah. That's why when he come back, he says he's gonna roll out of Zion. And when he come back with the language. He come back and resurrecting our forefathers, all that. JC can't do that. The Son of Man can't do that. Contrary to what they say. So, let me get Zephaniah. So, Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9. So, like I said, he dealing in appointed times. Well, then will I turn to the people at pure language, and they may all call upon the name of the Lord and serve him with one consent. See, so we can't call on him. The reason why we ain't got nothing from him because we ain't speaking our language. You got to call on him. You got to call him in our language that they gave us. That's what these clowns have done. So he tell you, yeah, he's gonna come back. Then he tell you where we're gonna be at. 10. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my supplements. Even the daughter of my dispersed shall bring mine offering. So can't even fumble with that. What's beyond the rivers of Ethiopia?
Africa.
The West Coast of Africa.
West Coast Africa.
Come on. So you need fumbling with it. So, but they can't read that because of, they following this narrative that the Europeans then gave them. So yeah. So
and we have to understand that every single jot and tittle in the New Testament was plagiarized from the Old. And if we were to throw away the New Testament, we're not missing nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Like you showed us parts of Revelation taken out of Daniel.
Right. Exactly.
Like you showed us the sickle, the understanding of the sickle in Joel is totally different from the way they presenting it in Revelation.
Right. Exactly. Right. And you have to get to a certain point to be able to do that, because you can't, with the lies and the witchcraft that they didn't put on us, you can't just cast that off. I mean, we had trouble with just keeping the Shabbat. So it's got to go. It's a amalgamation of things that you have to do, to get to that point. It's like the dietary laws. They've been throwing pork chops and hog maws out the back door for 400 years. You ain't gonna just eating pork chops. You have to you have to work your way into it, prayer and all that, and starting to get an understanding of who you are and all that. Then all that stuff started falling off, like I said, like water on a duck bag.
Right. And we all ate them pork chops and hog maws, but when you come into, I think the Bible says something about, when I was a child, I spoke as a child and I reasoned as a child. But when I became, when you come into the knowledge, when the Most High pour out his spirit on us, he bring us into the understanding that, you might have did that when you was ignorant.
Right.
When you didn't know me, but now you know, because you've been under your colonizers all your life.
Right.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to read Zephaniah based on, you know, like I said, I got jammed up last night because of the weather and all that. So I showed you all that, what I just read in Joel, and then I want to show you this right quick before I go forward. That, you know, that's another trick that's been played on us, these minor prophets, these major prophets and minor prophets. But I was telling you, it ain't no such thing as the major prophet and minor prophet. So I showed you that the Messiah in Daniel 9:25 is Zerubbabel, right? Zerubbabel is the anointed one. That's all Messiah means. He's the anointed one. When you in the book of Daniel in the captivity in Babylon. You in the captivity in Babylon. So they have to be delivered from there. So the king that got to be identified. That's who the anointed one is. You know, all the kings are anointed. Messiahs from David lineage. So Daniel telling you that they're getting ready to go back to Jerusalem from what Nebuchadnezzar and the Chaldeans destroyed. And then he said the street's gonna be built again, and the wall. What wall? The wall in Nehemiah that Nehemiah dealing with. So if the wall is back in Nehemiah, then who the Messiah is? Messiah ain't no 500 years. The wall can't be back in Nehemiah, and the Messiah comes 500 years later. The whole verse tells you the street's gonna be built again, and the wall. So if the wall and the streets are gonna be built again, then the Messiah got to be in the same time frame. It's Zerubbabel, and we went to Ezra and saw that. So when they came out of Babylon, they came back and rebuilt the temple, Zerubbabel temple. He had all these men with you. Let me read. I'm in 2nd Ezra if you want to lay your eyes on it for yourself. I'm in 2nd Ezra chapter 1, and I'm reading verses starting at verse 38. It says, and now, Father, look with pride and see the people coming from the east. They coming from Babylon. He prophesied 70 years they're gonna be in Babylon. He says, coming from the east. To them will I give leaders as Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, and Hosea, right? That's one of the minor prophets. Amos, that's a minor prophet. Micah, minor prophet. Joel, a minor prophet. Obadiah, minor prophet. Jonah, minor prophet. Nahum, minor prophet. Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. They talking to us.
Right.
Because they was given 490 years to back up the 490 years where they didn't keep the Shabbat year. And he giving them a chance to go back and make that up and bring in everlasting righteousness, and they didn't. And so when we know how the Most High operate, these Israelites right here, Levites, he coming to them and showing them that just like he did with Jeremiah, this place going to go to the dogs. The Chaldeans coming. So just as Jeremiah did, these minor prophets doing to people at the time of after Zerubbabel came back. He telling them what's going to befall them. And so, like I said, I read out of Joel. We see point blank Joel talking about the Gentiles. That's the third beast. And then when you come to find out, all of Malachi talk about Esau. Esau living in the land of Israel, posing as Israelites. Obadiah telling us the same thing. Well, I'm going to read Zephaniah. And so I'll let you, you deal with it and you put it where you want to put it there, but I'm going to read it. So I'm in Zephaniah. I'm starting at verse 1, chapter 1, verse 1. And the word of the Lord, which came unto Zephaniah, the son of Cushi, and the son of Gedaliah, the son of Amariah, the son of Hezekiah, in the days of Josiah, the son of Amon, king of Judah. I will utterly consume all the things from off the land, saith the Lord. I will consume man and beast. I will consume the fowls of the heaven and the fishes of the sea and the stumbling blocks and with the wicked, and I will cut off man from off the land, saith the Lord. I will also stretch out my hand upon Judah and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and I will cut off the remnant of Baal from this place in the name of cherubim with the priests, and them that worship the host of heaven upon the housetops, and them that worship and that swear by the Lord and that swear by making. So see, this is what caused them to go into Babylon, right? They were doing this right here, the reason why he brought the Chaldeans. right? So let's look at it and put it in perspective right quick. So I just read and showed you Zephaniah came back from Babylon with Zerubbabel. So now I'm in Daniel. Okay. 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 So right here in verse 7, it says, let me get it. Daniel describing the four beasts. It says, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and a vision of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the son of the matter. Daniel spoke and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven strove upon the sea, and four great beasts came out of the sea, diverse from one another. The first was a lion, like a lion, and had eagle's wings, and behold, till the wings thereof. So you know the story. Then it says, but another beast, a second, like a bear, and it raised upon its side, and it had 3 ribs in his mouth, and between his mouth, and they said thus until they rise and vow. So that was the second. So that was the second beast. And then I showed you how they came out. Right after this, we know Cyrus came in, overtook the Chaldeans, and then Darius, Cyrus, and Darius released the Israelites and allowed them to come back to Babylon. So now we in Daniel chapter. Let me get it. Chapter 9. So, like I said before, Daniel 9:25 ain't talking about no son of man or JC. He says, 25 says, know therefore understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks, 62 weeks. The street shall be built again and the wall. All you got to do is go to Nehemiah. You want to know about the wall. So that turn, that understanding right there. You can fumble with it if you want, but you see, you say the wall. Even in troublesome times, that's when Nehemiah came back and dealing with the wall. So who is this Messiah? That's Ezra, chapter 2. Let's go there right quick. Ezra, chapter 2. Let me get it right quick. So Ezra chapter 1, Cyrus makes the proclamation. The proclamation came right here. It says, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord, by the mouth of Jeremiah, might be fulfilled. The Lord stirred up to Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation. They go to commandment in Daniel 9:25 right there. Throughout all his kingdom and put it in writing. Thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven, have given me all the kingdoms of the earth and have charged me to build them a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judea. The street shall be built again and the wall, right here. Cyrus sent them back. So who is the Messiah? That's in 9:25. Verse 8, verse 7. Also, Cyrus king brought forth the vessels of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem, and had put them in his house of his God. Even those did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hands of Mithra, the treasurer, and numbered them to Sheshbazzar, the prince. See that? Of Judah. He got a Chaldean name, but he's a prince of Judah. So who is that? Zerubbabel.
Zerubbabel.
Sheshbazzar is his captive name. Just like Daniel got a captive name, Belteshazzar.
Right.
And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego got Israelite names.
Right.
That's their captive name. So he go to Messiah right here, the prince. Let's go back to 9:25. It says right here. We're gonna move on. 9:25 says, let me get it right quick. 9:25 says, know therefore understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince. They go to Prince. Sheshbazzar, he brought all the stuff out to Sheshbazzar, the Prince of Judah. There you go, right there. So anyway, we're gonna get back on track. So I'm over here in 9:20 to show you that all the minor prophets came back with Zerubbabel 20. And while I was speaking and praying and confessing my sins, I'm in Daniel 9:20. This is before 9:25. So it says, and while I was speaking and praying and confessing my sins and the sins of my people, Israel, and present my supplication before the Lord my God for the holy mountain of my God. Yea, while I was speaking in prayer, even the man Gabriel, we just broke down, it's 3 of them, okay, right?
Right.
Even the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, being caused to fly swiftly, touched me about the time of the evening's oblation, and he informed me and talked with me and said, "O Daniel, I am now come forth to give thee skill and understanding." At the beginning of the supplication, the commandment came forth, and I have come to show thee, for thou art greatly beloved. Therefore understand the matter and consider this vision. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon the holy city. So what's that? 7 times 70, 490 years. Well, they went to Babylon for 70 years. Why? Because they didn't keep the Sabbath year for 490 years. You get 70 Sabbath years out of there. So look what he's telling me. 24. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people. Why 70 weeks? Because you got 70 weeks, wicked ass weeks that you didn't do right. So I'm bringing you out of Babylon and giving you 70 more weeks to do it, to bring in everlasting righteousness. So 1 minus 1 get 0, right?
Right.
So if you 490 wicked years and you do 490 positive years, then you bring in everlasting righteousness. So let's read. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon the holy city, right? To finish the transgression. Transgression is these 490 wicked years. And to make an end of sin. And to make reconciliation for iniquity. How you going to make a reconciliation? 490 years. You're going to give them to go back to get it right. So he says, and be to bring in, see that? Everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and the prophecy and anoint the most holy. So we read in Obadiah that the Edomites, the Most High always leave a remnant in Israel every time he send them out of the land, right?
Right.
And the Edomites killed the remnant. They shedded blood on the land, on the Most High land, right? How you cleanse that land? How you cleanse the land?
You gotta
bring the people that back
bring
there
the people that shed the blood back and kill them.
They back? Ain't they back?
They back in the land.
So we got to shed their blood in order to cleanse the land. Right here, the same thing. 490 years, you did 490 years, 70 Shabbat years you didn't keep for the cause of the land, the woman.
Yeah.
So now he bring them back to make up for that. Bring you up to Christ. Back in Zechariah. I read all that to read this. So now we're back in Zephaniah. And then they back. I showed you they came back after the 7. So, but they got 49 years to do right. So I'm in verse 4. I will also stretch out my hand upon Judah and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and I will cut off the remnant of Baal from this place in the name of this is a god they idol they worship with Charon with the priests and them that worship the host of heaven. See, they back to doing the same thing again.
Exactly.
They ain't so that's why these minor prophets they talking to us. And to the people that came back with the same drum. So then verse 5 says 6, and them that are turned back. See that? Turn back. I done delivered you from Babylon. You done turned back from the Lord, and those that have not sought the Lord, nor inquired of him. Hold thy peace at the presence of the Lord God, for the day of the Lord is at hand, for the Lord hath prepared a sacrifice. He hath been his guest. So let's look at this. So I showed you how. I told you every time you look up in the little couch, at the top of the couch, there's a candlelight up there, there's an Edomite up there going over the scriptures, over and over again in the scriptures, right?
Right.
So when the Chaldeans came and ran Israel out and they went to Babylon, that was the day of the Lord. That was his indignation. Well, he got you thinking it's only one day of the Lord at the end of the world when the Lord come back. But the day of the Lord is when he comes with his indignation.
Right.
So the day of the Lord came when he brought Nebuchadnezzar. Right here, he telling you again. Because the day of the Lord, this right here, he talking about this day of the Lord when he brought Antioch Epiphanes, the Antichrist. He said 7, hold thy peace at the presence of the Lord thy God, for the day of the Lord. See this? Is at hand. You can't. This is Zephaniah talking. This ain't the same day of the Lord that we waiting on.
Right.
Yeah, the day of the Lord. For the day of the Lord is at hand. For the Lord hath prepared a sacrifice. he be his guest. And it shall come to pass in that day, the Lord sacrifice, that I will punish the princes and the king's children and all such as clothed with strange apparel. So who is the sacrifice?
The sacrifice is the Levites.
Yeah, Israel. Look what he says.
Israel.
And particularly the Levites. But he says, and it shall come to pass in that day, in the day of the Lord's sacrifice, I will punish the princes, right, and the king's children, and all such as clothed with strange apparel, right? So if you got, Most High gave them a certain type of garments to wear in the temple, right?
Right.
So if you worship Baal, you ain't got the same garments on.
No.
Right.
You got some strange garments on.
Exactly.
See that? So just like I told you, the Most High came in the cool day. You don't want to be there. He come when he show up. You got some strange apparel on. Come on, see that? So 9 in the same day also will I punish all those that leap on the threshold. See that? That's back to Babylon and Tomaz and all that. Would fill their master's house with violence and deceit. And it shall come to pass in that day, says the Lord, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. So what are you talking about? Gentiles, Antioch Epiphanes, Alexander the Great, the he-goat. Come on. Says, all ye inhabitants of the well, let's make it plain. So I don't, you got people listening. So he says it's gonna be a howling at the sheep gate and a crashing and all this, right? So let me get it. Dang.
Where you say, Leonard?
Daniel 8.
Okay.
It says 20 or 21 says, 9 and 26. Says 9:26 says, and after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off. This is the Messiah in 9:25. This is Zerubbabel. So Zerubbabel came back, they cut him off. They cut them off from building the temple. He was sent back to build the temple. Cyrus gave him a proclamation for him to go back and build the temple. He got back where the people in the land cut him off for 2 years till they had to go back and look in the archives to see what Cyrus had made the proclamation. When they found it, then he started back and he built the temple. So it says right here, 26, after 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come, that's Antioch Epiphanes. He the prince.
Right.
He was a hostage in Rome. Antioch Epiphanes, and he became the king of the last king of Greece, understanding dark sentences. And he came to Jerusalem. And so that's what he's talking about right here. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood unto the end wars and desolation. End of Israel, not end of the world.
That's right.
Nation. These minor prophets is prophesying about that. So I'm back over here where I was at. And it says 10, Zephaniah 1 and 10. And it shall come to pass in that day, says the Lord, that there shall be a noise, a cry from the fish gate. That's the Greeks. And a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. That's the Greeks. Howl ye inhabitants of Mistus, for all the merchants' people are come down. All they that bear silver are cut off. And it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with a candle. See this? Now this why he allowed them to come. Watch this. It shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with a candle and punish the men that are settled on their leaves, that say in their heart that the Lord will not do good, neither will he do evil. Therefore, their good shall become booty, and their houses a desolation. This is the abomination that make it desolate. They shall also build houses, but not inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards, but not drink the wine thereof. The great day of the Lord is near at hand, and hasteth greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty men shall cry thereof bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. See there, he go to clouds and thick darkness right here again. Says, Zephaniah said it, and Joel said it. Said the day of a trumpet and a alarm against the fenced cities, against the high tower, and I will bring distress upon men that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as dung. This when the Epiphanies came, you can read that in First Maccabees. It says, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by fire of my jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Right? So my intention was to read all three of those chapters, but I mean, y'all want me to read all of them or what? We had 2 hours.
Can that be yeah, I was gonna say we're meeting tomorrow night, right?
Yeah. I can incorporate that in that part of the class.
Okay.
So in the Q&A, anybody got anything before we go? What this is this is a makeup from yesterday, the Wednesday Bible study class where we got had some technical difficulties.
Okay. So I have one question, and the question is, when we hear the words "the day of the Lord," that refers to when the Lord is getting vengeance or displaying his wrath against a nation that has done wickedly to Israel.
Well, and not necessarily Israel. It's the earth, the whole earth. This is how you understand who's the Lord of hosts is. The Lord of hosts ain't Yahweh. The Most High it's an angel that's controlling the Most High's kingdom. So it's that's why he says that heaven's above and the earth is my footstool. Yahweh in heaven, but he got the Lord of hosts is his footstool. He the one controlling Most High's creation. So the whole earth is just So sin, it can be anywhere on the earth. You bring a sin, that sin gonna come to a fool, and then he has to judge it.
Right.
You got to judge that sin. That's why in Exodus 23, let's go there right quick. So like I say, this is a sharp sickle. It's cutting off all the garbage. So 23 and 20 says, behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way, to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, obey his voice, provoke him not. Not Yahweh. You can't provoke Yahweh, he in heaven. He says, provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgression. Sin. He overseen.
Right.
Let's go to Genesis 18, right quick. We in Genesis 18, right?
Yes.
And we see 3 angels came, right?
Yes.
Say, and the Lord, verse 1, the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. 3 angels. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men, 3 angels stood by him. When he saw them, there's 3 of them. In case you fumbling with it, he said them. He ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground. Why he bowing? Because the Lord hosts with him. Two of these angels, Lord hosts. 3 angels, one of them is the Lord hosts. And then he said, my Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. So he went to there's 3 of them, like we saw over there in Daniel. He went to the Lord of hosts because he had already met him over there when he told him to get thee from thy kindred. You already know what he looked like. So he went to him and bowed down, right? So you say, what are you talking about? Now we in verse 22. And the men turned their faces from thence. These men is angels, and went toward Sodom. See that? So 2 of them went to Sodom. 2 went to Sodom, but Abraham stayed yet before the Lord. See that?
Right.
So this other angel stayed there with Abraham. So why is he there? See what I'm saying? Why are you there? 24. And Abraham drew nigh and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? So he didn't destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Why?
Right.
Why? Sin.
Because of their wickedness.
Sin. In Exodus 23, he just told, Yahweh told Moses on Mount Sinai, this angel overseen. He overseen. So he down here to judge the area where the sin at. So he says, pre-adventure, there'll be 50 righteous. See that? He's dealing with sin within the city. Will thou also destroy and not spare the place of the 50 and the righteous thereof? So 32, 31. And he said, behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord. Preadventure there'll be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. See that? He, not Yahweh, Yahweh up on his throne in heaven. He down here to judge his sin. He's the Lord of hosts. He's over the Most High's kingdom. He's the strong one, the El
Right.
over Israel. Then 33, and the Lord went his way. See that? The Lord went his way as soon as he had left communion with Abraham, and Abraham returned into his place.
Mm-hmm.
You can't fumble with that. You can act like you don't see it, but there it is right there in your face. So he down here to judge the sin in Sodom and Gomorrah. And so, right, one more thing, we're gonna close out. So I'm back over here in Daniel, right quick, to make this plain. So I'm in chapter 8 again, and the same angel that Abraham just talked to, he controlling Gabriel. In verse 16, he says, and I heard a man's voice between the banks of the Uliah, which called. He heard a man's voice. It was a man that talked to Abraham, but it's an angel, right? So we don't need no son of man to come do nothing. They mean. So he says, and I heard a man's voice between the banks of the Uliah, which called and said to Gabriel, he controlling Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision. So he came near where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid, and I fell upon my face. But he said unto me, understand, O son of man, for at the time of the end shall be the vision. Now, as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face toward the ground, but he touched me and set me upright. Now here we go. And he said, behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of indignation. See that? What is indignation? Same indignation that brought him to Sodom and Gomorrah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now he's here now causing Israel indignation.
Mm.
He wiped Sodom and Gomorrah off the map, and right here he gave Gabriel brought a dream to him, and Gabriel giving him the understanding of the dream. Israel finna go away. The nation of Israel go away. But the thing is, it's not in the Roman Empire. It's not the fourth beast. It's at the end of the third beast.
Right. The Greeks.
The Greeks. Epiphanes, the Antichrist, came and ran them out. And then they ended up on the west coast of Africa.
Right.
So he the one that's dealing with sin. So you fast forward to the New Testament and Revelation, and this person sitting on the cloud, he ain't got nothing to do with sin.
Right. Right.
He ain't got nothing to do with sin. This angel right here over sin. So if he gonna come down, if somebody gotta die, which we know he made these angels immortal. So why he gonna make them immortal, then turn around and let some clowns down here with some red capes on killing? Come
right.
on.
Right.
Exactly.
Come on. It's time to deal with that. Yeah, so they ain't finna kill no angel. Hell, he righteous. He been there from day one. When the Most High say go left, he go left. He say go right, he go right. So didn't the 200 angels come down and sleep with women and all the scenes that we dealing with now? They introduced it to us, right?
Right.
Did he kill them?
No.
No. He put them in the earth and covered them up. He said cover them up with stones until the time of the end, for 70 generations.
Right.
So how in the hell he gonna kill this righteous angel Michael? He didn't kill him.
Right.
Garbage. It's garbage. Point blank.
Yeah, it's paganism.
Right. You can fumble with it if you want, but Most High promised that he's gonna wake us up in the last days.
Mm-hmm.
And so he done woke me up. I'm proud of it.
Right.
So
yeah, it's so clear. It's clearer and clearer. And as you were speaking about the three, and it's like it just fixed the puzzle. It just makes much more sense.
Right.
Read that over and over before about Sodom and Gomorrah, about the three at the tent, and it's just like he's laying it out for you.
Right.
So it makes a lot of sense. As far as God, I just lost my train of thought. We were talking about I think I have to write them down because I was thinking about a lot of things as you was talking, but I'll write them down for tomorrow.
Well, I had to start doing that because you have so much you want to talk about, but so you have to,
you were talking about things were coming to my mind. I needed to write them down.
Right. So you gotta just gotta make a little quick annotation on the paper or something. You know?
Right.
So like I was saying, thinking like a Hebrew. I'm gonna show you this right here, and then this what I mean by then when you start breaking this down to some people, they'll get it, but you know, pride because they think they're some super Bible scholar, and then when the Most High sent one of his people, and you breaking it down, then you won't say, you know, you can't handle the fact that you know you ain't never seen that.
Right.
You're gonna fumble with it. So here we go again. This is what I mean by thinking like a Hebrew. And we're gonna get off the line. We just in this. We just dealing with this about the Amalek. So let me get it right quick. Okay. Give me a minute. Okay. Okay, I'm at 21 and 22. This is a covenant that this covenant Abraham made with Amalek.
Is that Genesis?
Yeah, Genesis 21 and 22.
Okay.
This gonna break down a whole lot of stuff. Like I said, you can fumble with it or you do what you want to do with it. So I'm in 21 and 22 of Genesis, right? I'm telling you, Most High got a strong one over his kingdom. That's why he brought the strong one, brought Joseph the second in command because he's second in command. He brought Mordecai the second in command because that's where he controlled everything from, second in command. He all powerful and all knowing. He got balls, but he got enough sense to know to bow down to the Lord of hosts, to Yahweh.
Yes.
Everybody can't do that. So here I am right here, 22. This Amalek. A lot of people know about Amalek, but they don't know about the other dude, Pescal. Let's look at it. It came to pass at that time that Amalek and come on now, Amalek and Fiscal, right? The chief captain of his host.
Yes.
So Amalek is the king, and Pescal is over his kingdom. He's the strong one. He's the one with the get right. So it says, captain of his host.
Yes.
Now, so the captain of the host spake to Abraham. See that? Saying, God is with thee in all that thou doest. Now therefore swear unto me, hear by God, that thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son. Nor with my son's son. See that? I don't know if you're catching that. See that? He said with Abraham, he making this covenant with Abraham. Now therefore swear unto me, here by God, by Yahweh, and by the Lord of hosts, that thou wilt not deal falsely with me, nor with my son. Say, did Isaac come later?
Yes.
Isaac came to the same place. Look what he's saying. Nor with my son, nor with my son's son, his grandson. See that? But according to the kindness that I have done unto thee, thou shalt do unto me, and the land wherein thou have sojourned, right? And Abraham said, I will swear. Now watch this. And Abraham reproved Amalek because of a well of water which Amalek's servants had violently taken away. And Amalek said, I will not who have done this thing, neither do thou tell me, neither yet heard I of it, but today. And look at this. Here we go. This is what I mean by thinking like a Hebrew. Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them unto Amalek, and both of them made a covenant. Watch this. And Abraham set 7 huge lambs of the flock. He went in the flock, got 7 huge male lambs with the ram with the horn. You know, the dangerous ones. The dangerous ones. Huh?
Right.
So he says he got 7 huge lambs of the flock by themselves. And Amalek said unto Abraham, look at this. See this? See, Amalek don't understand what's going on. And Amalek said to Abraham, what meaneth these 7 huge lambs which thou hast set by thyself? I'm asking you what they mean.
Well, the Most High deal in 7, so that's them 7 in probably representing the 7 angels.
So let's go all the way in. So
they
don't they have to make don't they have to make sacrifices?
Yeah.
Lord of hosts, making them make sacrifices to him.
Yes.
How many of them is it?
7.
So we gotta get 7 lambs. Stay there. They stay there.
Oh,
They there. So look at this. So he says, and Amalek said unto Abraham, "What mean now these?" See, he looking all around. It's just like you in the jungle and there's a python up in the tree. You know something ain't right, but he's right up there looking at you. So anyway,
Right.
he says, Abraham. So 28. Abraham set 7 huge lambs of the flock by themselves, and Amalek said unto Abraham, "What meaneth thou these huge lambs which thou hast set by themselves?" And he said, "For these 7 huge lambs shall thou take of my hand, that they may be a witness." See that? Unto me that I have dug this well. Wherefore he called that place Beersheba, because there they shall swear both of them. So they made the covenant. Abraham making this covenant in front of them
Right.
with Amalek.
Right.
See that? Amalek ain't getting it, but he making it with them. So we saw over there when Gabriel was and let's look at it right quick. I'm gonna get off the line. I'm gonna get off the sound for real. So we get to verse 7 over here back again. This is what I mean by it's stuff going on that you ain't seeing, and so when it's broken down to you, if you don't see that, you think I'm stir crazy. So right here, they was all 7 of them was right there. Now I'm over here when Abraham getting an understanding of the vision in chapter 8, verse 15. I read it twice tonight. Daniel 8 and 15. And it came to pass when I, Daniel, seen the vision, sought for the meaning, then behold, there stood before me as appearance of a man. Right?
Right.
And then said, and I heard a man's voice between the banks of Elijah, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man understand the vision. Then 17. So he came near where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid, and I fell upon my face. That ain't it. Let me get over here. Right here. 7 and 15 says, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the vision of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by. So
right.
How many there?
Is it
7?
7?
So he all disoriented. Then he looked, and his closest one to him, that's where he went to. Right?
Right.
So you say, well, what you talking about? Because you just said there was 3 there, right?
Right.
What did we read in 12? He said one on this side of the banks of the river, and another one on the bank of the river, and one standing in the middle, right?
Right.
Well, look what I'm reading right here. These I, Daniel 7 and 15, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the vision of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by. So how can one be on the other side of the banks of the river and he come near the closest one when one of them way on the other side of the bank? Let that firm make. Okay, so anybody got anything else they want to talk about before we go?
Let me see what I was gonna say. I'll save it for tomorrow.
Right. So like I said before, when Moses took the 70 elders up on Mount Sinai, he said that he saw God in his clearness, the body of Yahweh. So what is he telling you? Yahweh and the 7 was there. All through the scriptures, once you find out what Enoch break down to you and tell you that he created 7 angels in the very beginning, holy angels, that's who they are. They there. We sitting there fumbling with it, but they there. When Abraham appeared, when the Lord of hosts appeared to Abraham and told him, get that from that kindred. The other 6, they was there, but they might not show themselves. But if he there, they there. See what I'm saying? He said, eyes of the Lord go to and fro. He said, the eyes of the Lord. He said, the eyes of the Lord go to and fro.
That's right.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to pick this conversation up on Friday at 7 o'clock.
So that's tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Let me get you some of this lion. Then we're gonna go. Okay.
Wow. Hallelujah.
Okay.
That lion is ready.
Okay. So shalom. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
Okay. Shalom. Shalom.